Shalom, I'm Ezra Solomon, and I need to tell you something uncomfortable. Nobody respects you because you don't respect yourself. You're out here begging for validation while breaking every promise you make to yourself. Today, I'm teaching you the ancient Jewish practice of kavod, self-respect through discipline, and why external respect is just a reflection of internal character. Let me be direct with you. You're in a respect crisis, and you don't even realize it. You're constantly checking how many likes your post got. You're refreshing your notifications every 5 minutes. You're fishing for compliments, seeking validation, desperately hoping someone will finally recognize your worth. And when they don't, when people dismiss you, talk over you, or ignore your boundaries, you feel crushed, disrespected, invisible. Here's the truth you need to hear. They're not the problem. You are. I know that stings. I know you want to tell me, Ezra, if people just appreciated me more, if they just saw how hard I work, if they just understood my value. Stop. That's the comfortable lie that's keeping you weak. People don't respect you because they can sense something you're trying to hide. You don't respect yourself. And no amount of external validation will fix internal emptiness. Think about it. When someone truly respects themselves, you feel it. They don't need to announce it. They don't fish for approval. They don't crumble when criticized. There's a quiet dignity, a centeredness that commands respect without demanding it. That's what you're missing. But here's what you do instead. You violate your own principles daily. You break promises to yourself constantly. You say you'll exercise tomorrow. You don't. You say you'll stop wasting time on social media. You keep scrolling. You say you'll speak up for yourself. You stay silent. You say you'll work on your goals. You make excuses. Every single broken promise erodes your self-respect. Every excuse you accept from yourself, every standard you lower, every boundary you fail to enforce, it all compounds. And people feel it. They sense the internal chaos. They detect the lack of self-discipline, and they treat you accordingly. This isn't about them being mean. It's about basic human psychology. We respect people who respect themselves. We trust people who keep commitments. And when you can't even keep commitments to yourself, why would anyone else take your words seriously? The ancient Jews understood something about honor that modern culture has completely forgotten. They had a practice, a discipline, a framework for building genuine self-respect. Not the fake self-esteem movement nonsense, not the "you're perfect just as you are" platitudes. Real, earned, character-based respect. And that's exactly what I'm going to teach you today. The Hebrew word is kavod, and it's going to change how you think about respect forever. Kavod means honor, dignity, self-respect, but it's not what you think. It's not arrogance. It's not thinking you're better than others. It's not demanding that people treat you a certain way. Kavod is something much deeper, much more powerful. Let me break this down for you because the Torah is very specific about this. In Leviticus 19:18, you'll find one of the most famous commandments: love your neighbor as yourself. Now, most people focus on the love your neighbor part, but the ancient rabbis focused on something else: as yourself. You can't genuinely honor others if you don't honor yourself first. You can't give respect from an empty vessel. Kavod is the internal sense of dignity that comes from living by principles. It's self-respect earned through self-discipline, not feelings, not affirmations in the mirror, not other people's approval. It's the quiet certainty that comes from keeping your word to yourself. The Talmud teaches in Pirkei Avot 4:1, who is honored? One who honors others. This sounds contradictory until you understand the mechanism. When you have genuine kavod, real self-respect built through discipline, you stop seeking honor from others. You're already full, and that fullness allows you to honor others without needing anything back. That's when people start respecting you naturally. Here's the paradox that will blow your mind. The more you chase respect from others, the less they respect you. The less you need their respect, the more they give it. True self-respect makes you care less about others' opinions, and that independence is magnetic. From my background in psychology, I can tell you this aligns perfectly with what we call internal locus of control. People with high self-respect base their worth on internal standards, principles they live by, commitments they keep, character they build. People with low self-respect base their worth on external validation, likes, compliments, approval, recognition. The external validation seekers are on an emotional roller coaster. One good comment, they're high. One criticism, they're devastated. The kavod practitioners are stable, grounded, unshakable. But here's what you need to understand. Kavod isn't something you're born with. It's not genetic, it's not luck. It's built daily through a specific practice, a discipline that forces you to confront yourself honestly. And most of you have been destroying your kavod without even knowing it. Let me tell you exactly why you've lost your self-respect. And I need you to really hear this, because it's going to be uncomfortable. You don't respect yourself because you betray yourself every single day. Think about yesterday. How many promises did you make to yourself? How many did you keep? Be honest. You said you'd wake up at 6 a.m. You hit snooze until 7:30. You said you'd eat healthy. You ordered takeout at 9 p.m. You said you'd work on your project for an hour. You scrolled social media for 3 hours instead. You said you'd go to bed at 10 p.m. You stayed up until midnight binge watching shows you don't even care about. Every single one of those broken promises damages your kavod. Here's the psychological principle you need to understand. Your subconscious mind is tracking everything. Every commitment you make to yourself, every promise you break, it's all being recorded. And your self-image, your sense of dignity, your internal respect is calculated based on that data. When you consistently break promises to yourself, your subconscious learns a devastating lesson. I can't be trusted. My word means nothing. I have no discipline. I'm weak. And then you wonder why you feel like garbage. You wonder why you lack confidence. You wonder why people don't take you seriously. It's because you don't take yourself seriously. In the Jewish tradition of Musar, the practice of character refinement, what we call tikkun midot, there's a foundational principle. Character is built through daily practice, not grand gestures. You don't build self-respect by making big declarations. You build it by keeping small promises consistently. But here's what you do instead. You make dramatic announcements. Starting Monday, I'm completely transforming my life. Then Monday comes and you're back to the same patterns by Tuesday afternoon. The gap between who you say you are and who you actually are, that gap is where your self-respect dies. And people sense it. They absolutely sense it. When you say you're going to do something, they don't believe you. Why? Because you've trained them not to believe you. You've shown them through consistent action that your words are meaningless. You can't fake kavod. You can't perform self-respect. It either exists because you've earned it through discipline, or it doesn't exist and everyone can tell. This is the Yetzer Hara at work, the evil inclination the Talmud warns about. It's that voice convincing you that excuses are acceptable, that just this once doesn't matter, that you'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. Let me tell you about Marcus, 34 years old, successful marketing director, 6-figure income, nice apartment, and absolutely zero self-respect. When Marcus first came to me, he was drowning in people-pleasing. His boss would dump extra work on him last minute. He'd say yes. His family would violate his boundaries repeatedly. He'd stay silent. His friends would cancel plans constantly. He'd make excuses for them. Marcus was everyone's doormat, and he knew it. His complaint? Ezra, people don't appreciate me. My family doesn't respect my boundaries. My boss takes advantage of me. No one values what I do. I looked him in the eye and said, Marcus, you don't have boundaries. You have wishes you never enforce. And people don't respect you because you don't respect yourself enough to keep your own word. He got defensive. But I need to be liked. I can't just become selfish and rigid. I need these relationships. No, I told him. You need your self-respect first. Self-respect isn't selfish. It's the foundation of genuine relationships. Right now, you're not having real relationships. You're having transactions where you trade your dignity for temporary approval. That hit him hard. He wanted to argue, but he knew I was right. I introduced him to the practice of Cheshbon Hanafesh, daily accounting of the soul. I'll explain the full practice in a minute, but here's what happened with Marcus. Week 1 was brutal. I had him write down 3 promises to himself every morning. Simple things. I will not check email after 8 p.m. I will exercise for 20 minutes. I will say no to one request that violates my time. He broke most of them, and the evening accounting, writing down the truth about what he actually did, was humiliating for him. This just makes me feel worse about myself, he told me. Good, I said. You should feel worse. You're finally seeing the truth instead of the comfortable lie. Feeling bad about breaking promises is your conscience waking up. That's the first sign of kavod trying to return. Month 1, something shifted. He started keeping 1 promise per day. Just 1. The morning exercise became non-negotiable. Month 3, he enforced his first real boundary. His boss asked him to work the weekend. Marcus said no. He was terrified. He thought he'd be fired. His boss respected him more after that single no than after 3 years of yes. 6 months later, Marcus was a different man. Same job, same family, but completely different internal state. His quote still stays with me. Ezra, I didn't need their respect. I needed my own. Once I had that, theirs followed naturally. Now let me give you the exact practice that transformed Marcus. This is Cheshbon Hanefesh, the accounting of the soul. This is an ancient Jewish discipline that's been practiced for thousands of years. It's daily self-inventory of your character and your commitments. And it's uncomfortable precisely because it works. Here's why this builds kavod. You cannot respect someone who doesn't track their own integrity. Not others, and definitely not yourself. Your brain knows when you're lying to yourself. Cheshbon Hanefesh forces radical honesty. I'm giving you a 3-part daily framework. This takes 8 minutes total. If you tell me you don't have 8 minutes, you're telling me you don't want self-respect badly enough. Part 1. Morning commitment. 3 minutes. Every morning, before you touch your phone, you write down 3 specific promises to yourself for that day. Not vague wishes. Specific, measurable, time-bound actions. Bad example. I'll be more productive today. That's useless. Good example. I will work on my project from 9 to 10 a.m. without checking my phone. That's measurable. Write 3 of these. Small promises. Achievable. The goal is building the muscle of keeping your word, not impressing anyone. Part 2. Evening accounting. 5 minutes before bed, you review each promise. You write one of 2 words. Kept or broken. That's it. No excuses. No justification. No, but I had a really hard day. Just the truth. If you broke a promise, you write down the exact excuse you told yourself. I was too tired. I deserved a break. I'll do it tomorrow. This is your Yetzer Hara pattern, your evil inclination's favorite lie. The Talmud teaches that naming the enemy gives you power over it. When you write down your excuse patterns, you start seeing them clearly. Part 3. Weekly pattern recognition. Every Sunday, you review 7 days of commitments. You're looking for patterns. Which promises do you consistently keep? Which do you consistently break? The ones you break reveal your character weaknesses. That's not judgment, that's data. And in Musar tradition, you can't refine what you don't see clearly. Here's the discipline principle from my psychology training. Accountability systems create behavioral change, but most accountability systems rely on other people. Cheshbon Hanefesh makes you accountable to yourself, which is harder and more effective. This practice is uncomfortable because it removes your ability to lie to yourself. No more, I'm basically a disciplined person who just had a bad week. The journal shows the truth. And self-respect, real kavod, is built on truth, not comfortable delusions. Now I know exactly what you're thinking. Let me address your objections before you use them as excuses to avoid this practice. Objection 1. This sounds harsh and judgmental toward myself. No, it's not judgment, it's honesty. There's a massive difference. The Talmud teaches discernment, not delusion. Judgment says, you're worthless because you failed. Honesty says, you broke this promise. Write it down. Try again tomorrow. Here's the reframe you need. Lying to yourself about broken promises, that's what's actually harsh. That's what keeps you weak. Pretending you're disciplined when you're not doesn't protect you. It traps you. The Musar masters understood this. They practiced radical self-honesty, not to destroy themselves, but to build themselves. You can't fix what you won't see. Objection 2. What if I fail every day? Won't this destroy my confidence? Listen carefully. Confidence without competence is delusion. Kavod doesn't come from feeling good about yourself despite evidence. It comes from honest struggle and incremental progress. Here's the truth you're avoiding. You're already failing every day. You're just not tracking it honestly. So you get to maintain this vague sense that you're pretty disciplined while your life shows otherwise. The practice gives you permission to fail. The Musar tradition expects setbacks in character building, but it demands you face them honestly. You're not aiming for perfection, you're aiming for direction. If you keep 5 out of 7 promises in a week, you're building strength. That's 71%. That's real progress. But you have to track it to know it. Objection 3. I don't have time for daily journaling. Stop. You scrolled social media for an hour yesterday. You watched YouTube videos for 40 minutes. You spent 20 minutes deciding what to watch on Netflix. You have time. You just don't respect yourself enough to give yourself 8 minutes. This objection reveals exactly why you need this practice. What you make time for shows what you actually value. Right now, you value distraction more than dignity. Objection 4. This won't make people respect me faster. And there it is. You're still focused on external validation. You're still asking, how do I get them to respect me? Wrong question. The question is, how do I respect myself regardless of what they do? Here's the discipline shift you need. Practice kavod for you, not for their approval. The Talmud teaches gevurah, strength through discipline. That strength must be internal, not performed for an audience. When you build genuine self-respect, others' respect becomes irrelevant, not unpleasant if it comes, but not necessary for your dignity. That's freedom. Let me tell you about Rachel, 28 years old, social media influencer, 300,000 followers, constant comments, likes, shares, engagement, and absolutely zero self-respect. Rachel was drowning in validation, but completely empty inside. She confessed to me, Ezra, I refresh my notifications probably 100 times a day. If I post something and it doesn't get immediate engagement, I panic. If I get one negative comment, it ruins my entire week. I can't sleep. I can't focus. I just keep checking to see if people still like me. The root issue was clear. External metrics had completely replaced internal kavod. Her self-worth was outsourced to strangers on the internet. I told her directly, Rachel, you're begging strangers for permission to respect yourself. You've given away all your power. She got defensive. But Ezra, this is my career. Engagement matters. I have to pay attention to analytics and audience response. No, I said, career success built on external validation is a house on sand. The second the algorithm changes or the audience moves on, your entire sense of worth collapses. That's not stability, that's addiction. That word, addiction, hit her because she knew it was true. I gave her the 30-day Cheshbon Hanefesh challenge with specific social media boundaries built in. Week 1 was withdrawal. Her first promise, I will not check notifications before 10 a.m. She broke it 5 out of 7 days. The evening accounting forced her to see the compulsion. She'd wake up and immediately grab her phone before her eyes were fully open. The habit was deeper than she realized, but she kept going. Month 1, she started keeping small promises. Morning walk before touching her phone. Posting content without immediately refreshing the comment section. Just one kept promise per day. Month 3 was the breakthrough. She posted a video and didn't check the response for 24 hours. It was terrifying for her. What if no one cares? What if it flops and I don't know? But she did it. And here's what she realized. Ezra, I didn't need them to care. I needed to care about keeping my word to myself. 6 months later, Rachel still had the same career, same follower count, same content, but her internal state was completely different. Her quote, "The practice didn't get me more respect from others. It made me stop needing it. External validation became a preference, not a necessity. That's when I finally respected myself. Kavod established, character built, freedom achieved. Let me bring this home for you. Kavod, self-respect, isn't earned through others' approval. It's built through daily discipline, through keeping promises to yourself, through honest accounting of your character. Every kept commitment builds you stronger. Every broken promise damages your dignity. It's that simple. And Cheshbon Hanefesh is the ancient practice that forces you to stop lying to yourself and start building real self-respect. Here are your 3 immediate action steps. You start tomorrow morning, not next week, not when you feel ready. Tomorrow, action 1, morning commitment ritual. Before you touch your phone tomorrow morning, grab a notebook. Write down 3 specific promises for the day. Make them small and achievable. Don't try to transform your entire life overnight. Examples: I will walk for 10 minutes. I will not interrupt people when they're speaking. I will eat 1 meal without looking at screens. 3 promises, written down. Specific. Action 2, evening truth session. Tomorrow night, 5 minutes before bed, review each promise. Write 1 of 2 words next to each. Kept or broken. No excuses, no justification. If you broke a promise, write the excuse you used. Too tired. Didn't feel like it. I'll start Monday. Whatever lie you told yourself, write it down. That's your Yetzer Hara pattern. Action 3, weekly pattern review. This Sunday, look at 7 days of promises. Which ones did you keep consistently? Which ones did you break? The patterns reveal your character. The broken promises show you where to focus your discipline next week. Now, here's what I need from you. Tell me in the comments, what's the promise you consistently break to yourself? And what excuse do you tell yourself when you break it? Be brutally honest. That honesty is the first step to kavod. And if you're serious about this, comment day 1 below right now. Commit publicly to 30 days of Cheshbon Hanefesh. Don't break the chain. Make sure to subscribe, because next week I'm teaching the Talmudic framework for mental clarity through Hitbodedut, the practice of self-isolation for clear thinking. I'll show you how 10 minutes of daily solitude cuts through the mental chaos modern life creates. Here's your final challenge. Stop seeking respect from people who don't see your struggle. Start building kavod through discipline they'll never witness. That's where real honor lives, in the promises you keep when no one's watching. Shalom.